Today on the review bench, I turned this rat's nest of a PC, this $40 eBay special that I bought just for the case and power supply, into something pretty decent and cost me a total of 56 cents USD once it's all added up. Stay tuned to figure out how I did it. So this cable management nightmare you see in front of you was this custom tower with a Phenom X4 940, 2 gigs of RAM, 500 gig hard drive, 650 watt power supply for $40 CAD, and I saw it listed, thought why not, I'll pick it up, I can use the case, I can use the power supply, and I can build something that's gonna be fun and bring back some retro memories. Before I jump into the amazing, let's talk about what I got here. So the system you see in front of you that I'm spraying out right now, I've already switched the GPU at this point in time because I accidentally deleted a bunch of my original takes. No big deal. But this $0 PC wasn't $0 to start with. It cost me about $28 USD. Came with a Phenom 2 X4 940 3 GHz Black Edition, 4 gigs of DDR2 800, 500 gig WD hard drive, a Corsair TX650W, and a Coolermaster HAF Case. The case and power supply are what actually interested me in buying this to begin with. An HD 350 GPU that goes right in the trash can, and a Windows 7 Pro key on the side of the case. So while I clean up the system in the background here, and give it a little bit of RHR loving, I guess you want to call it, if I'm knocking off another channel I actually quite enjoy, from Down Under. The $0 PC became a $0 PC not by choice, but by coincidence and sheer luck. So I upgraded the RAM I upgraded a lot of these things by listing on a site called Garage Sale. It's a local thing here. I don't know if everywhere has it. You don't have to deal with people. You say what you want to trade, and people will meet up with you, or will just leave stuff in a bin. You go leave your $5 or whatever you're trading in there, and you pick up what you need and you leave. So I posted up that I needed some DDR2. I needed a graphics card, and I needed a hard drive. I found a guy on there who's looking for somebody to pick a bunch of old computer parts, which was included a box of fans, which I actually used in this build here, and 8 gigs of DDR2 1066. He just said DDR2. It was actually about 16 gigs. Got it for free. Grabbed that, threw 8 gigs in. Gotta have 8 gigs. A guy was looking for a larger hard drive for his kid, so I traded him his 250 gig normal HDD, 120 gig SSD, and $5 on my part for my 500 gigabyte Wd Blue. That trade was nice and simple too. Then, where the sheer luck kicked in and this became a $0 PC. Buddy of mine had his power supply blow out on him and needed something now. And all I had sitting on my desk was this rig right here. So he took my 650 watt power supply for about $50 Canadian, $38 USD. And I grabbed one of my old Thermaltake power supplies, which I had kicking around, and threw a 430 watt PSU in there. It's just sitting in a scrap rig. Then I found one guy who got back to me on GPUs for the cheap, and for $10 Canadian, local pickup, a guy had a 650 Ti Boost 2 gigabyte. I didn't have one on my background, so I said I gotta have this. Picked it up, started the upgrades, and with that, I somehow have achieved a nearly $0 PC. This thing's under $1 total, and what can I do with a PC that I have spent just under $1 on? And once we get to the very end, I'll break down all the costs of everything else a little better. But let's jump into some gaming results, because you're going to be as amazed as I was. Because I'm a glutton for punishment, the first game I attempted was Call of Duty Warzone, and the CPU's not supported. So, right on to the next thing. Now, quite impressively enough, we're going to jump into an older game, Diablo III, and we were seeing on average anywhere between 40 to 144 frames per second. And it's not too bad. No real stutter, even in big battles. Got about 40 frames per second in these really big battles. And it felt smooth, didn't feel old or anything like that. This was at 1080p max settings. And it's not half bad. If you're looking for a cheap Diablo system, this may not be a bad option for you, which pretty much amazed me at first, because this system is ancient and it's not too bad, but as you can see, the frames seem good. Not using very much RAM, we're under 5 gigs of RAM, CPU's barely being used, and the GPU's definitely our bottleneck at this point. So with that, let's jump over to Doom. Since Doom Eternal won't even load, we jump into Doom 2016, and again, I'm quite impressed. This rather old system on the Vulkan API, 720p, and we're getting higher than 30 frames per second on average, usually jumping between 40 to 60, and it's actually playable. Again, I'm amazed. $0 PC's doing pretty damn good right now. And I played through Doom this way. Again, it couldn't run at 1080p. Had to lower it down to 720p. And with that, it's not too terrible. And the Vulkan API is absolutely amazing. As you can see here, I'm getting 60 on average at some really good points here. And not too bad. Let's jump into Fallout 4. Now from Doom over to Fallout 4. Fallout 4, we were not running at 720p, but actually 1080p on the medium preset. Getting ourselves on average between 45 to 60 frames per second. It's locked at that 60. I know it says 62 every once in a while and stuff, but if you set it any higher, the game starts to glitch. Because Bethesda's, yeah, they're not too good at designing games. Cool storytellers, but not too good at designing games. So, if you're looking to play Fallout 4, the free PC can actually do it. On this one, kind of a little bit opposite of Doom, and our CPU seems more of our bottleneck here than our GPU. 1080p, battles were no problem, didn't get any laggy, didn't feel like I was getting any frame spikes or anything like that, but with that again. So this is running a Phenom 940 and a GTX 650 Ti on DDR2 on the system, and we're playing something like Fallout 4, which this alone impressed me exponentially, but the next two benchmarks are gonna absolutely blow your mind. From Fallout to Far Cry, we're now on Far Cry New Dawn, 720p, lowest preset, and we're getting an average of 43 frames per second, a minimum of 33, and a max of 62. This feels like console quality to me, but it's playable, and I am absolutely floored. Sadly, my on-screen display software was really glitching for this, so I really couldn't get anything for CPU, GPU results as RAM, but the results aren't half bad. Doesn't look terrible, doesn't look that great, but it plays. And from this, we go to one more that impressed me even further. Jumping over to the newest game on our list, we got Borderlands 3, 720p, lowest preset, no graphical scaling, and we're averaging 43 frames per second. So we're staying above 30, which isn't too bad, but for Borderlands, I gotta say 60 kind of is the bottom of the line when I'd play it, but it does seem somewhat playable. But what really amazes me is we are completely CPU bottlenecked on this game. It is 100% the entire time, just cranking her up there. With that, it's not too bad, but it's not what I would really enjoy. But again, it passes that 30 frames per second, which I used to and will always kind of call my console rating, and it is playable at that. From there, let's go to what most people are going to be using a free PC for. We're going to jump into Fortnite. Free PC, meet free game. We now have Fortnite. This is at 1080p, high settings, and we're getting anywhere between 25 to about 50 frames per second on average while gaming. 40 seems to be our main point we're sitting at. It is playable because Fortnite is a odd game for me. I don't actually mind the 40 too bad, but you should be gunning towards 60 or higher. With that, I clock it down to 720p, same settings, high settings preset, and we're getting between 71 to 120 frames per second on 720p. So that's not too bad and definitely very playable. I wouldn't say overly competitive because it kind of has its stutters from time to time, but all in all, not too bad for a free PC, meeting a free game. With that, let's take our final tally at the system. I'll give you my final thoughts, and we'll go from there. Now we definitely have to finish things off with the final tally. Original PC, paid $28 for. Sold, power supply, $38 in my pocket, an extra $10 cash. Traded up on the SSD and down on the HDD, cost me $3.52 USD. Got a new GPU for it, $7.04 USD. All this was originally in CAD, so this is with the USD transfer. Total cost, 56 cents USD. With only spending 56 cents, the rig came out pretty damn clean, looking nice, and really did impress me. This was a lot of fun to make and was not what I was expecting out of a rig this old. But With that, I'm probably going to reuse the case and everything else to make a nicer rig and retest the 650 Ti at a later date. I'm John with Real Hard Reviews. Please tell me if you like this style video. I've never done this before. I'm happy to do many more of these because I have thousands of systems because I buy, trade, sell systems like there's no tomorrow. And if you do like it, please tell me below. Please throw a like on it, subscribe, and have yourselves just an absolutely wonderful and safe day out there, people. Have a good one. Goodbye.